Shout out to Archie, the one true child king. Yes, he's here. Probably the most well-known 3-day-old baby in the world. And he's like so adorable. I mean, like, who but a king can command and demand the world to stop what they're doing right now and gaze upon his glorious little face? Who but Archie? Who? I set my alarm for 5:30. I'm in the second time zone in the United States. 5:30. And I was up. I was up, sis. Archie said, "See me. 'Cause I have arrived, my dears." Like, who but a little boy named Archie? Nobody. That's who, and that's that. WellChild is the charity that I would like to plug this week. They are based in the UK, and let me tell you what they're about. WellChild is a national charity giving children and young people with serious illnesses the best chance to thrive at home with their families. At home, like that's the key phrase right there. They want to give them the best chance to thrive at home. Okay? Not just leave the hospital or wherever they're being cared for, but to be able to go home and thrive. Got it? Cool. Well, WellChild believes that every child, young person, and family must have the following things. Not either or, but all three simultaneously. You feel me? 1, the opportunity to be cared for at home whenever and wherever possible. Numero dos. Access to high quality, appropriate care and services, whatever their health needs may be. Amen to that. Because, child, if you lived in America, you will see how rare that is for a lot of people. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people who even have health insurance, they don't even have that. And what I'm saying is they don't have, access to high quality, appropriate care, whatever their needs are. Okay, so I'm just like, let's put in perspective. WellChild is making sure that families have that. And number 3, involvement in all decisions regarding their care. Now, how does WellChild work toward achieving that vision that they set out to achieve? Well, by providing practical and emotional support to seriously ill children, young people, and their families, enabling them to leave the hospital quicker and live life in their own homes. By funding projects and research to ensure parents, carers, and those who work in the children's healthcare sector are better equipped to provide support to children and young people with long-term, complex healthcare needs. And lastly, by influencing the future of health, education, and social care policy to ensure it meets the needs of families of seriously ill children and young people. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about their impact. You feel me? Now, last year, 2018, just one nurse in Southeast London was able to reduce discharge times from 4 months to 6 weeks. That's one WellChild nurse. That's huge. And they ended up saving the NHS over £1 million or around £1 million. That's pretty darn good, if you ask me. Hey, but what do I know? Well, I'll tell you what I think. Sounds like WellChild is a great organization. It sounds like they engage pretty well with the National Health Service on all fronts. And it makes a difference. It makes a big difference, actually, for families to be able to have their loved one recover at home and receive healing at home, if it's at all possible. WellChild plays a part in that. So, you might be wondering, well, how can I get involved? Especially if you live in the UK. Well, girl, let me tell you how real quick. Well, there are many great ways for both individuals and organizations to take part. You can take part through campaigns, through challenges and fundraisers. You can volunteer your time and you can even donate. Every effort, every contribution helps, and it helps a child get closer to spending that valuable time with their families at home as they continue on their journey of healing. I, for one, love being at home. Don't you? Now, in the name of King Archie, madams and sirs, to find out how you too can help children get home with their families by volunteering your time or donating, please go to wellchild.org.uk. Again, that's wellchild.org.uk, and see how you can get involved. Because there are people who need the help. So let's help them. Welcome to another episode. I am V, and this is the Sussex Set, and it goes without saying, of course. Welcome to the world, like out here with the rest of us. You know, you made your debut, and you're here, and you're fabulous, and wow, just officially welcome. Technically, you're not a prince, but oh, of course, that's because you're a fucking king. Like, no, for real. You know, for my purposes, you're it. Like, that's it. Like, that's that. Like, that's it. But seriously, like, I had no expectations for the debut, you know, the photo call. I was just glad that it was actually happening 2 days after the baby was born, but everything about Archie's debut was wonderful, I thought. I'm sure you did too. But I loved every minute of it. It was like a whole damn, it was an event, right? Like I honestly and I know I'm kind of biased, right? But I honestly don't remember this level of excitement even when Will's first child was born, right? And this is not no comparison scenario that I'm doing here. I'm just speaking in terms of him being the heir, right, out of Charles's children, and him having a son who then would be his heir. You know what I mean? I don't remember this type of excitement even for them, and they're like directly in the line for throne. So I'm like amazed at the global attention, which kind of speaks to the love that people have for Harry. I think everybody's in love with Meghan. She's so great. Of course, that's my girl. You feel me? But I think people forget just how deep the love runs for Harry. Like, for real, for real. And then you combine the two of them. They're just like fucking dynamite. And then they have this cute ass baby plus Doria. Like, wow. It was great. It was great. Archie is just the most precious little thing. But woo, the expectations on this child's head. Like, I totally see now why Harry and Meghan did not go for the courtesy titles. Like, so many expectations already, and he's just a tiny baby. Like, dang, let my boy live. Somebody said Archie was going to, or supposed to, like, bring black Brits and white Brits together finally. Like, girl, what? Like, what? Like, if you don't let this perfect little boy enjoy his milk in peace, sheesh. I mean, I know we're all excited with the history of it all, and don't get me wrong, I definitely am. But Archie Boo is just trying to chill with Grandma D before she goes back to California. Like, he's just trying to enjoy his first week on Earth. Like, chill. But for real, shout out to Miss Doria Ragland, you know what I mean, for covering that child's head at the photo call. Because if she's anything like my mom, that child is covered at all times, especially going outside though. And Doria really brought the melanin, did she not? And I only say that because of this. Like, no one can deny the power in that moment. Doria, a dark skinned black woman, standing as a grandmother now, standing next to the queen, who's also a grandmother, great grandmother in this case, but still a grandmother, looking at her grandchild. That's like, it didn't even really hit me how powerful that was when I first saw the picture. I think because everything was happening so fast. But then now, like, having a day or two just to kind of reflect on that, that was incredible. Like, that was probably like the dark horse moment out of that whole day, was just that picture with all five of them. Well, six if you count baby Archie. But like, forget about like Archie and Meghan and Harry and everybody else at this moment. And I just want to sing Doria's praises just for a second. Doria's presence next to the Queen is momentous. And not just for the royal family, but for like black people in the Commonwealth and black Brits specifically. You could say black Americans. I can't speak for black American. I can only speak for myself, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it would probably be more amazing if we hadn't already had a black president, but we don't have royalty over here, so it's not like really the monarchy is something that is interwoven in our culture the way it is for people in the Commonwealth and specifically black British folks. So that was amazing, I think. And actually I saw a lot of people, especially a lot of mixed race people, but black people too, tweeting and just commenting on how surprised they were at how emotional that moment, that one photo, that family photo made them, seeing Doria and Meghan and a mixed race baby right there. Right there. You know what I'm saying? Not on the outskirts, but like at the epicenter. And I love that Doria looks comfortable. She looks at home, you know. I am sure she's made to feel beyond welcome when she's there and when she's in England with her daughter, but like, she just has this regalness about her where she knows she belongs, you know. You can tell she respects herself highly too. And I'm not basing this off of this one picture, just based on everything I know about Doria up to this point. And as far as I know, people just absolutely love her. You know, she carries herself very regally, but there's a quiet strength to her. You get that a lot from Meghan, I think. Harry too, in a different way. But yeah, no, she respects herself very much. And how else do you raise a woman like Meghan? Because, you know, I don't really think Meghan got too many qualities from her other parent. But, you know, forget about that. You know, Doria raised Meghan to be a strong, proud woman who supports other women. Yeah, man. Shout out to grandmothers. Shout out to Doria. Shout out to my mom, who's also a grandmom. My mom actually suffered a stroke earlier this year. And so her speech is a little bit impaired at the moment, you know, but she was in pretty dire straits, earlier on, but she's made so many improvements, right? And so I went to her house on Tuesday. That was the same day as the photo call. And was it Tuesday? Yeah. And I showed her because she knows how much I like love Harry and Meghan, and so I was going through the photos and just swiping through all of the different photos that was taken of the family, and we just kind of sat there, kind of looking at some of the pictures, and I'm just explaining everything that basically what they were talking about, what they were, because I didn't show the video, but what the guy asked them and how they responded and how they said the baby was and everything. And so I got to the picture with Doria and the Queen, and then I talked about that one, and then I swiped it. And then she swiped back. And so my mom, she took my phone and she just stared at that picture for a long time. Like a long time. And she didn't say anything. She was just looking at the picture. So I just let her look at it, And my mom's about Doria's age. My mom's early 60s. And that at that point was when I kind of realized, oh, right. So that was a moment. You know what I mean? And my mom isn't a royal watcher like that. She sees what she sees whenever it's on, like whenever Good Morning America does a segment on it or CNN talks about it and that's it. Like she doesn't seek it out. She never has. But I can tell she was really moved. I mean, you got to think my mom. So the Queen's been the Queen about as long as my mom has been alive. Think about it. That's a great way. And I just thought about it. Like, that's a great way to picture it, right? So if you have parents that are in their 60s or 50s, let's say, the Queen has been a fixture in their lives for their whole lives. Ours too, by default of us being younger, but that's how, like, historic Queen Elizabeth II's reign is. And then to see her standing next to a Black woman like my mother with her daughter and her son, wow. Yeah, Doria's presence truly, truly matters. And I think the Queen actually knows that too. Just to keep it all the way 100. But shout out to the Queen, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my mom, you know what I mean? Moms and grandmas everywhere. You heard what Harry said. Women, we are incredible. We do the incredible work, So, yeah, I just wanted to sing Miss Doria's praises real quick. And how about Meghan? She just came out looking so beautiful, like a newly blossomed flower. I know flower is her mom's nickname for her. But yes, this was just straight up glowing. Like, Harry has the dad glow going, but Meghan is really just so lovely, isn't she? Like, at every stage, every phase, every year, every season, she's just, I don't know, she just got this thing. She got that it factor or that X factor or whatever they call it. But she was really just glowing. And, I love her beautiful, fuller face. I know that's her pregnancy weight, but she's just cute as a button. And I thought the photo call was very sweet. It was so moving. Like, someone said that they were very generous with their time. Given their original stipulations for the pictures, I believe it was like 10 seconds to take a photo. And then, the interviewer got to ask 3 questions and then they were to leave. But they were there for 3 minutes, or close to 3 minutes. So they were very generous with their time. And we love a generous family, honey. But the way that she kept rubbing Archie's little head and they kept looking at him, looking at each other. Like, that completely melted me, bro. Both she and Harry were made for this role. To be honest, they were, like, Harry was waiting on his woman, right? Whoever she was to be. Then he met Meghan. And you see that didn't waste no time, honey. So this is what they were really trying to get to. And I'm so happy that they are here. Like, you can tell Harry is just over the moon. Like, he doesn't even look like the same person to me. Maybe that's just me. He just seems different in like the best way possible. And so I'm living, but I gotta say, there were points where in the video where she looked a tiny bit uncomfortable, and that's to be expected, having been nesting for over a month, and then to publicly debut your baby when all you want to do is just hide them. That's it. That's all you want to do. You just want to protect your little baby and be at the house and kick your feet up and do whatever it is you got to do. She's also working too, because we love a working Duchess, honey. But neither here nor there. We will get back to that in a minute. But I just had a lot of empathy for her because, she hadn't been out in the public eye, and God knows it probably felt like ages for her. And she just wants to protect her little bitty nugget, So, but it's really refreshing to see her be vulnerable too. I mean, I don't think she's ever had a problem with showing vulnerability, but that was an instance where neither she nor Harry could hide it, because how can you? This brand new baby. But then they're in a unique situation too, where they have this pressure to come out with their baby. Like, nobody ever pressures other regular normal normies like us to just, take pictures with our newborn. But they're in a different stratosphere from the rest of us. So, I definitely have empathy for them for that. And so I get it. But like, that being said, can you imagine if she had to stand on the damn street? Like, in hindsight, I just simply can't imagine. Like, with that precious child, I know there's no traffic, but just the idea of standing on a street, girl, like a street with your baby on some concrete steps outside, exposed to the elements, huh? What they do that at? Not to mention for a bunch of like entitled, ungrateful thugs, right? Who treated her like she didn't even belong. Not gonna happen. Not over here. So with that, I just want to say R.I.P. to the Lindo wing. You served your purpose. Diana gave you your moment in the sun, and now it's time for you to go home. That's it. Now, you just might do for the future king and queen of Inglaterra, pero you simply will not do for King Archie. Therefore, from this day forth, you must fade into obscurity with the echoes of "Bye, Felicia, bye, Felicia, bye, Felicia" behind you. We will remember you, but we will henceforth never speak your name. Now, did you peep the subtle, not so subtle, actually, sort of subtle, shade and subversion of the Sussexes during that photo call? And leading up to the photo call now, I mean, the way they gave the media a giant fuck you, and I mean like the establishment media, right? Well, most of them, or most of the really, I guess most of the royal tabloids and royal reporters, most of them, they said, "We shall not be pushed around. You will stand by. We don't care if you complain. Write it down, girl. Like Smokey say, take a picture. But you will go on our time. And when that time has come, you will sit back and you will watch this black man interview this family." Like, what a clear message that sends. And don't think for a second that that was a fluke. That was not a fluke. Not my opinion, okay? But they said this is how things will go. We have set the standard. We will not budge, not under threat, not under pressure of any kind, or under any circumstances, girl. And you little bitty bitches in the media, you're going to fight for every little scrap that you can while witnessing this professional black man reap his rewards. Because all you've done is tell lies. And we have nothing for you. But Alan Jones, yes, he gets to make history with us. Whew. Their minds. Their minds. That sends a brilliant message, bro. Without having to say a word, mind you. Not for real, for real. They're speaking with actions. But my thing is, like, Harry already told people what he wanted them to know. He told the media directly. He addressed the media directly in 2016. You know, that was a global story. When he told the media where to go about how they were treating his girlfriend at the time. She was then his girlfriend. They weren't even engaged. They were far from engaged. And in hindsight, that lets you know how Harry felt about her from the very beginning. Right? But since words don't work and words don't teach, because they really don't. Not when you're dealing with selfish individuals, especially if they're money driven. Then you got to show them how stupid they look. You have to make them regret their actions by how you operate, by how you move within the system, right? So, I mean, like, because the Sussexes are going to be on cloud nine regardless. They just changed their strategy a little bit, I feel. And I think that there's more of that to come. Like, this is the first time that's happened. And it really won't be the last time that happens either. Harry, I guess most people probably don't know this. Maybe if you're American, you might remember Harry's Invictus Games interview from, I think it's like 2014. Because 2016 was in Canada and 2014 was in America. And that was when, Obama was still president. So that was the whole boom thing with the Queen and, you know, Obama, and although Obamas and Harry were sending messages back and forth. But, yeah, he sat down with none other than Robin Roberts. Most people probably don't remember that. She is like an anchor woman. She is an anchor woman for Good Morning America. It's a morning show. It's like a morning sort of news show. You know, I guess everybody has those now. But, oh, yes. I believe that Harry has a great relationship with Good Morning America, too, because of Robin Roberts. And also, I tend to like their coverage of Harry and Meghan. CBS This Morning, too. I mean, clearly the Sussexes have friends in American media, you know, and I'm not saying that they're unbiased at all. I think that they are certainly fair, you know what I mean? Or they have voices on who don't seek to malign them for stupid, petty reasons, you know what I mean? Or promote the Cambridge, just because there are factions that do that too. You don't find that. You find that on Fox maybe, but not even really, because I don't even think they care so much about the royals over here that much. But at least from the coverage that I've seen on Good Morning America, they're very fair to the Sussexes, but they're friends of the Sussexes. You know what I mean? And they're, you know, Harry and Meghan are a big interest story for, like, most people in the world, including over here. But Robin Roberts and Michelle Obama they're good friends. So I would imagine back then, Michelle Obama probably recommended to Harry to go to Robin. But I believe when Serena Williams had a couple of big interviews, too, she went to Robin. You know, Serena Williams is Meghan's good friend, Archie's good auntie. You feel me? Like, him and Olympia are going to make memories, you know? Play dates galore, you know, because Wimbledon is coming up, sis, coming up. And if you recall, Meghan, sadly, my girl lost. She lost the Wimbledon final last year. But Meghan She left Wimbledon. Kate left her in her own car. And Meghan went to hang out with her, or really console Serena, her good friend Serena. So, but anyway, that was a tangent. Yeah, so Robin might have been recommended to Harry. And so I thought highly of him back then that he sat down with a black woman at that to interview him when, of course, everybody in American media was clamoring because all the media, headquarters are in New York City. So they were clamoring to get Harry, and Robin got him. So there you go. But big shout out to Alan Jones for landing both interviews, the interview with Harry by the horses, as well as the brief interview at St. George's Hall in Windsor. At Windsor? Did I say in Windsor Castle? Or anyway, congrats, man. You did a brilliant job. And now that makes me curious, actually, to see what else they're going to do. Like, how else they're going to throw shade some of those fools in the media. Like, but of course, it'll be oh so classy, I'm sure. But that said, pay attention, because especially in terms of how they engage or don't engage with the media. And that goes for when they're on their tours or when they're on just different short visits in places. And I'm paying attention. Because Harry hates those motherfuckers. With good reason. But congrats to the Sussexes, Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, for, just a masterful debut of their son. Like, it was class in every single regard. Like, from the timing of the IG post to the photos in St. George's Hall and the interview, to the fact that they didn't even reveal the baby's name until they posted the picture with the Queen. Like, that's crafted and is very well done. Making sure that Doria was in that photo as well, that it was a family photo. Like, in the interview, they talked about going to introduce him to more family. They introduced him to that family, being the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh. And then they released a photo with the name. Like, work, Meghan, work. And the Queen had to approve that specific photo. Like the moment that the Queen met her baby, that's someone who understands how to present an image while simultaneously sharing an intensely private moment with the world. But on her terms, that takes a lot of guts. Like, I'm not really, like, I don't really know if people truly grasp how unlikely that is, right? For someone who's new to not just any family, but like the family. She hasn't even been there a year, not officially, because her anniversary ain't until later this month. Okay? And she was not moved. Like, I definitely think her age assists her in that, where you have the confidence because you're very sure about who you are. Like I said earlier, you know what you want and you don't compromise. But she was not asking for much, though. Like, that's the key right there. But the fact that she was not persuaded to do anything other than what she and Harry knew was right for their family. God damn. Respect to Meghan. Like, that's class all the way. And I think that's their standard. Their standard for themselves is like so high. It's simply how they operate. And, some people can't relate, and that's okay. But, people got to do what they got to do. And Meghan and Harry did what they had to do. They are planners. They are visualizers. They are executors. And they executed their son Archie's debut to a T. Just when I thought I couldn't stand harder, I had to stand some more. Not to mention, it appears that the Duke of Sussex made May 8th about his son. When the Cambridges tried to make it about them, let's move on. So Meghan and Harry forewent the courtesy titles as expected. They talked about that long ago. Um, Hell, if they like it, I love it. For real. I think they know what they're doing, and I think I trust their judgment. I'm not in the family. I'm not even English, so in a way, I think we all want to see the baby have a title. But I really have to take Harry's word on it. I think people want to see the baby have a title because they know the baby is a mixed baby. Um, and they want, like, that title is respect. I think a lot of people equate that with respect. Um, but I think Harry doesn't necessarily view it that way. I think Harry and Meghan, but especially Harry, kind of has the insight that very few people have. And Harry and Will are different in that, and I only say those two because they're they're in the forefront. Um, Will seems to enjoy the titles. Harry does not. Or let's say the perks, not necessarily the titles, but the perks of being born into extraordinary privilege. And Harry doesn't seem to care about it, not for real, one way or the other. He uses it for good, right? I don't think he wants his son to be burdened by those. You know, the Earl of Dumbarton. Dumbarton. I don't think he wants his children to be burdened by those or feel like they have to live up to something that's really random. It's like an accident of birth. And only Harry knows how he feels about being in an institution that kind of closes you off from the world. You're in the world, but simultaneously sort of buffered from it in a real way. And that definitely brings its challenges. And I also, from my understanding now, I think Harry is just like really, really glad he wasn't the firstborn. As he's gotten older and he's come to understand the obligations that come with basically like trading in your life. Anything that you actually want to do, you can't do. Not for real, for real. Not for real. Not on your own terms for any long period of time. You are obligated to service. Your life is that. And you have to do so many. You just have to walk a different line, man. Harry's too damn free for that. Harry's like, I'm good. Matter of fact, we good. We good, champ. We good. Titles, you can keep those. We're headed straight to Normalville. Don't confuse that with being average now, because that's not what I'm saying. Because average they are not, darling. But, they just don't need the titles. They don't want the titles to do all the things that they plan to do. And that's definitely true. They don't need those. They already got the love of people. They themselves are already like famous. Harry was this close to. Meghan came into the family as I hate this word now, celebrity, because that is like the last word I would use to describe Meghan. But she was a celebrity in the United States in addition to the different things that she did. Now I think people just kind of use that as an insult, but she brings her star power. Harry was the closest thing to a celebrity in the royal family. He still is, to be honest. So with that, they're never going to need to ensure that their kids have titles because people just love everything about them and anything and anyone they produce. But it makes me wonder just how much of a burden being royal, quote unquote, has been for Harry. Like, he really hates that fishbowl aspect of it, I think. He loves doing good, and I love that about him. He loves using that platform and that privilege. for something good, something beyond himself, because you can only use so much of it for yourself and actually like maintain any sense of like contentment. You got to use that shit for somebody else, man. Otherwise, you will go crazy, I think. But he hates being watched, man. He really does, and I can see how that's been a burden. You know, he's hated the media since he was a kid. Hate is a strong word. I can't speak for Harry, but he hasn't been like shy about talking about how he despises the media. You know, with good reason. Um, yeah, I don't know. He has every right to not want to pass that burden to an innocent child who's gonna get global attention anyway. You know, we can see that. But I think it also shows their confidence in their abilities to parent their children in a way that they will not need titles to live purposeful lives. And that, to me, kind of summarizes why people love them. One could even argue that unearned, quote unquote, titles may even take one's purpose away. And that is a burden that he does not want to pass to his kids. And so, here. I hear you, man. But I got to thinking, like, there's also the idea that, like, if they were to have a girl, right? And so if it wasn't Archie, but like Archina, there's no Archina. I know that's not a real name, but let's just, for the sake of, Archina, she wouldn't get a title. She would not have she wouldn't inherit a title. Any title that she got would be courtesy of the Queen or courtesy of Charles once he became king. And there might be the idea of, that had they had a girl, she wouldn't have received a title. So they declined on account of fairness. I don't know, on behalf of the girl they would have had or that they might still have, Because Meghan has told us once before, and she'll tell you again, Harry's a feminist. You don't have to be a woman to be a feminist. And Harry is quoted as saying he wanted a girl. I'm sure he wouldn't trade Archie for the world now. You know what I mean? But he was hoping for a girl at the time. So there's this idea that they both are very much behind the idea, of just raising strong women. And so if they were to have a girl, and Harry's going to get his girl, best believe she wouldn't inherit a title, according to, I guess, how they're doing things. So maybe he didn't want Archie to have one right off the bat because, that's kind of messed up. Archie gets one, the next baby doesn't if it's a girl. That's crazy. But hey, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. They don't want the titles because they don't need them. Thanks. I read somewhere that Archie automatically becomes a prince when Charles is the king. Okay, cool. Archie is already like king of the world right now. So, all right, prince will be cute or whatever. But, yeah, some people will ask, well, why did Harry even take the duke? Why did he take the title of duke anyway? Why did he take the dukedom? Well, the answer to that question, in my humble opinion, is because that man respects his wife, period. She shall not be known and referred to by his name. She will be addressed by her own bloop. You feel me? So you see how Harry rolls. You see how he did that. And it also doesn't hurt to be the Queen's favorite grandson. Let's move on. So the Cambridges and the Sussexes have some important initiatives coming up. Apparently, this is straight off the wire. And so there's an initiative where William and Kate and Harry and Meghan, I will not say that alliterative, dreadful, ridiculous phrase used to refer to the four of them together because it is a farce. But yes, so the Cambridges and the Sussexes. So, and no, I'm not even going to edit that out. So the Cambridges and the Sussexes are working with heads together on a mental health texting service called Shout. You know you make me wanna move my hands up and come on there. That has a base of 1,000 volunteers currently. I think they're trying to work up to like 3,000 or 4,000 by the end of this year, which is pretty ambitious. But those volunteers are trained to support people in moments of crisis and to form a plan for next steps to find longer-term support for those people in those moments of crisis. That's a nice idea. That's a nice concept. Like, it really is. It really is. I wish we had something like that over here. We have a suicide hotline. Most countries have that for people in those specific kinds of crises. But, you know, a crisis for one person might be every day for somebody else. You know what I mean? So there are different levels of mental crisis, you know. And I like the fact that, and I'm just kind of just going off the, you know, concept of the service right now. That is text. Most young people like to text. They don't call. They don't pick up the phone and call nobody. Some people call them and they let the phone ring. they would text that person, "Oh, my bad. I was walking my dog and I couldn't really talk at that time." So, and they was looking at the phone watching it ring. So, the fact that it's text it's actually good. For young folk, for the young folks, you know, I grew up with landlines. You know, a lot of y'all don't even know what that is. A lot of young folks don't even know what that is, and I ain't gonna explain it. Google.com. But anyway, it's a nice concept. Okay, so I guess this is the first thing that they've actually launched as a group. You know, the Cams and the Sussexes. But yeah, I mean, it sounds great, and I know how important mental health is to Harry in particular. He talks about it a lot. I hope it succeeds because of what it is, what it does. I know Meghan and Harry are the workhorses. I know they are the master promoters of things, and so I'll be watching to see how the media tries to spin the credit for this. And I don't want to approach this story because I know it's probably touchy on social media right now. I don't want to approach it as automatically jockeying for a position for the Sussexes because they don't need it. You know what I mean? The Cambridges do. Now let's just go ahead and let's just point to the facts. Okay? They kind of need that. So if the media somehow turns this into something that takes credit from the Sussexes and moves it toward the Cambridges, which I've already seen the headlines, don't be surprised. I'm not surprised. I have such low expectations for the British media. But, you know, I don't know. In the long term, I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't really know what all the reasons are for that, if that is the case. Does it come from Will? Does it come from, you know, Will and Kate, to where they just say, you know, let's let them do the work and let's just scoop right on up in there and, you know, take credit and put our name on it. But, you know, I don't know. It's like, it's weird nowadays because you can't really hide from receipts, you know? You can't really hide. You've already seen the pictures of Meghan and Harry behind the scenes, you know. That's what I love about Harry and Meghan. You see pictures of them from months ago. You didn't even know. You didn't even know they were out there doing the damn thing and they were doing it. You know, they don't have to prove themselves. People are going to help prove themselves. People are going to help prove the Sussexes as being, you know, hard workers. Their work will speak for itself. So the receipts are kind of already out there, but I'm not sure how it all play out or why it even plays out the way that it does. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower my expectations. I definitely hope the service helps a lot of people. Um, it's a critical part in all of this. It's just the people at the center of it who would use the service. But again, I can't help but think about that survival thing that I think people in the monarch kind of have to do, where people in the who are in line for it, right? They kind of have to do. They have to constantly fight to remain relevant because they have to convince the people that they are needed. And they not really needed. If I can just be real with you, they're not. They're not. Not for real. Not for real. So they have to position themselves as relevant. And, as much as I don't really like Will, not really, I do empathy anybody in that position because that's not a free life, man. It is just not a free life. But I'm not saying that that's what's happened, but I can see if that is why something like that would happen. But, I'm not holding my breath for some warm and fuzzy Fab Four. There, I said it. Shit to go down. No warm and fuzzies over here because y'all already know I don't see the Cambridges as team players. I'm not saying they're not in this, but it's already looking bad. You know what I mean? I don't see them as team players. Not for real, for real. Their track record speaks for itself. And so does the Sussexes. So I'm going to go the benefit of the doubt route and let's just see what happens. At the end of the day, I'd like to believe that they all just want to help people. And I'll look at it this way. If at the end of the day, the credit does go to the Cambridges, despite the Sussexes' hard work, and maybe Harry and Meghan are okay with that if that means that the project is successful on behalf of the people who really need it. I can see the Sussexes kind of, doing that, because I don't know, that's just kind of, I think that's the type of people they are. I don't think they're jockeying for like points or shit, but like, there's no shortage of love for them from everyday people. So I don't know. Let's just see how it plays out. Like if the Cambridges are coldly taking credit, then that just makes them look bad. If you ask me. And they'll learn to stop shooting themselves in the fucking foot. You know what I mean? The culture is clearly Team Sussex, and you don't compare when you don't compete. So you sure as hell don't win when you undercut. And so, I don't know. I'm just going to see how it plays out. Harry and his wife are good. Trust.
So, an addendum. This is going to sound much different from the rest of the podcast in terms of sound quality, but this is a ghetto show, so go ahead and bear with me. Yeah, and you know what? This addendum is about the whole text message special project that the Cambridges and the Sussexes worked on and launched. And I just gotta say, man, I saw both Instagram posts, the one from Kensington Palace, and the one from Sussex Royal. And I did see the video. I saw the video on Twitter before I even recorded the podcast. And I saw how they posted it. And then I read the Kensington Palace. And this is just me kind of like spitballing, so do bear with me now. I saw the Kensington Palace description of their initiative, and then I saw, of course, the Sussex Royal. They're very professional. Saw their caption, very long, very detailed. Lots of information about how it will work, who it's modeled after, and it being an initiative. It mentioned that Harry and Meghan made a surprise visit to a panel. They sat on the panel and they had the pictures, the same ones that we saw on Twitter. Here's the thing that's striking to me. Couple of things, actually. One is a little bit benign. The other one is a little bit more concerning because it kind of underscores a lot of the things that people have been saying. And so it's either more evidence or Will is just tone deaf as fuck, okay? But one, Sussex Royals presentation. Oh, wait, let me go back. Kensington Palace's, presentation. Okay? Compared to Sussex Royals presentation, and we're talking about the same thing, which is Shout. The same initiative, and the presentation could not be further from opposite. Like it's really like Walmart versus Chanel. That's the comparison, right? You know, it's kind of embarrassing, actually, if you're talking about somebody that's going to be the future of this monarchy that y'all are trying to keep relevant. Okay, so that's one. The description is kind of scant. It's not really talking about a whole lot other than like just vagaries, about people need help and we want you to be a part of this. This is special force. Thanks. So that's one, but that's not really a big deal. They just need to improve how they present things. But the other thing is that's more concerning is that, first of all, in the video, Meghan is barely in the video, and that is not me being like, super cynical or, hyper suspicious. Meghan she's in there, but there are no close-ups. Her back is either turned or somebody is standing in front of her. Harry is there prominently. Now, if you notice in the caption, they, or I guess I don't even know if Will wrote it, but he signed it like he wrote it, right? He mentioned that Harry, Kate, and he himself started Heads Together, and they began it as a project, and so this is the big thing to come out of it. He didn't even mention Meghan in the caption. There was no mention of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And so I've seen so many people talk about how it almost pains Will to even say Meghan's name. In fact, I've never heard him even say, he's been asked about them, but I've never heard him even mention or reference Meghan without being asked. I've never heard Kate reference Meghan without being asked. So it's just so striking to me. And it's so loud. It's like the omission of Meghan in that caption to me is just loud. Maybe I'm overreacting, girl. Y'all can tell me what y'all think. But that to me demonstrates a lack of respect. And it's something that you never see in the Sussex's work. They reference the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge as well as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as in we are a team. Harry is a team player. That boy served in a war zone. He is about team effort, team contribution. Whereas to me, this is my personal opinion, based on observations, the Cambridges don't really roll like that. And so we're seeing it now. We're seeing it. It's right up there in front of our faces. Maybe I'm overreacting, but we got two sets of people working on one project and two completely different approaches. You don't see the Cambridge Post referencing anything about the Sussexes' surprise visit to that panel. You don't see that. The Sussexes had to say it themselves. But it's a team effort though, right? Oh no, honey. Oh no. We finna watch how this plays out. And yeah. I don't know, man. If your battle lines weren't drawn by now, you might want to go ahead and consider drawing them hoes. Because this, to me, this is embarrassing. So I just wanted to add that. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning where I am. But it's just, I just saw the tweet. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I just saw the post. So I just kind of wanted to add that, record this so I can add this into the podcast, when I edit it and basically make it live. So, that's that on that. I'm gonna watch it and see how it plays out. Right now, to me, it doesn't look good. Not on that front. The initiative itself is great. And here's another thing, and then I'll just be quiet. I like that the Sussexes talked about the people that they sat with, that they work with, the people that they, I can't remember her name, but it's Brianni, the lady, she met with Harry earlier. She talked about that on her Instagram. They referenced that in their post, and they also referenced and tagged the crisis text line organization from the United States that their initiative is based off of. So you see a lot of respect coming from the Sussexes. You don't get that thoroughness coming from the Kensington Palace Instagram anyway. So, y'all let me know what y'all think, because some of the milk ain't clean.
What else is new? Meghan made a video appearance at the Cam Fed Education Changes Everything Gala in New York City. Yes, Meghan. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen Meghan. At it again. And in the video, you can see that, her face is still very round, very lush, very beautiful. You know what I mean? Sis just threw on a blazer. I hope she had on a nightgown under that jacket. But I love what she said too. You know what I'm saying? What did she say? She said, a girl who is educated. She did not say it like this because I am so motherfucking ghetto. A girl who is educated becomes a woman who is influential. Right on. Right on. Sis had that hair laid, preaching gospel, By the way, tonight, or last night technically, they raised $133,000 CanFed in one night. Amazing. I think I saw a clip that said the lady on the stage said that they raised enough for 5 million girls to receive 5 more years of education. That's a lot. That ain't no small detail. That's incredible. CamFed was one of those charities that initially benefited greatly from the global Sussex baby shower. So shout out to CamFed and shout out to Meghan for always staying in touch, because that's what they do. She told the girls, I am one of you. Basically, because it looked like it was a surprise, like, video recording. And they just dropped that little nugget in there. And she said, here I am, girl. Here we are together. Yes, you thought I was just at home waiting to deliver, but no, my dear hearts. I'm thinking about you, boo. And all the work that we will do. My respect for you and my desire to contribute runs steep. And I am really about that life. As women, we stand shoulder to shoulder. She promised them that she wouldn't just show up and take pictures, never to be seen again. No, ma'am. Okay? So, I will continue to stand. I'll continue to stand even harder. So, and actually, this is the same day that Harry went to The Hague to plan for his Invictus Games. Yes, that's his brainchild. Yeah, we love a couple who, moves in purpose and meaning. Yes, we do. We love a couple with authentic work ethic, and that is no shade We love a couple who keeps their word to people that look up to them. Oh, yes, we do. We love a couple who constantly seeks out voices to amplify. Voices beside their own, mind you. Yeah, the royal family really did hit the jackpot with Harry and Meghan. I mean, each of them individually is great, but together, powerhouse. So, just quickly, I'd like to give a Bitch You Tried It award just to a few people. One is an individual, one's a group. First and foremost, Danny Baker, you sick fuck. I hope you are enjoying unemployment because you deserve to be fired. And I love that, like, BBC did a story on how they fired you and why they fired you. Boss, no one deserved it more. No one. No one deserved to be fired more than you did. And as if you didn't know, like, comparing a baby to a goddamn chimpanzee wasn't racist. You knew what you were doing. You don't live on this earth for 50 some odd years and escape the fact that what you tweeted or the comparison that you made was racist. It was just, there's no way. So, enjoy the unemployment line. You deserve your just rewards or punishment in this case. So, secondly, and this is really not important, it's just kind of laughable, but to all the folks who claim the Duke and Duchess named their child, rather stole the name for their child from Prince George's self-given nickname, Archie. Yeah, you tried it as well. From my limited understanding, and I really didn't pay very much, attention to this, Harry and Meghan were talking to a little British boy, and asked him what his sibling's name was, and him and his siblings, and he told him, and, the little boy's name was Archie. And Harry said, I like that, and went on about his damn business. Harry probably tucked the name away in the back of his head and waited for the gender of the baby. But he probably knew, what about Archie? If it's a boy, let's call him Archie. But no, there are folks determined to believe. They are convincing themselves that the Sussexes walk around the grounds of Windsor thinking about and plotting ways to undermine and outdo the Cambridges at every turn. First of all, they're a family. And sure, not all families get along, but, Harry and Meghan are too busy, like, working on real projects to spend their time, or worse, model their lives after anyone other than themselves. And besides, and let me say it again, you don't compare when you don't compete. So I really need for y'all to go out here and get your life, because your theories, they just need work. That was a lame one. Do better next time, girl. That's all I've got for this round. A reminder that the new podcast IG is up, and we're really trying to prosper over there. So it's just one for the podcast, just if people look for it. It's just at Sussex. Sussex Squad is me, but at Sussex Set on Instagram. Yeah, just say hey or whatever. Otherwise, you can just hit me up at Sussex Squad on Twitter and IG. My DMs are open. Say hello. I may not be able to respond to everybody right away, but I will definitely try. Leave an iTunes review if you have time, and remember to check out WellChild, okay, on baby Archie's behalf, and see how you can get involved. Okay, those kids, the quicker they go home, the better that healing is, and I think the deeper it is, even. Ain't no place like home, child. That's one of the oldest lessons I learned. So honestly, truly, please check out WellChild. So you can find them at wellchild.org.uk. And keep speaking the truth, y'all. Keep shining your light. And until next time, peace.
I'm bad, bitch. You can't kill me.